Do you find that maybe a lot of people are intimidated to maybe have those conversations? Is it lack of information? Is it, maybe they don't know the market? Because, to have a conversation like that and go back to a brand, be like, hey, what do you actually need? Right. To me, it's like a different layer of that. Maybe we need to go through the negative experiences to be like, man, like this may be a partnership that, is not the best fit for me. How can people avoid that? Or what do you think? Like when they come to you guys and they consume your content, is that a correct theory of mine, or am I completely losing my mind?
It's funny because I was just I was commenting back and forth with someone on LinkedIn who was saying that it blew their mind. They were like a salesperson. That was like their job. They're used to getting on phone calls with brands and customers. And I had said like probably 80% of the creators, influencers, podcasters that come to me have never been on a phone call with a brand. They're petrified of this. And so one of the reasons why they mail it in, or one of the reasons why they have a place on their website where you can book an ad spot in my podcast. Oh yeah, use Stripe, like whatever, use this. One of the reasons that they do that is because the prospect of getting on a phone call with a brand and having a conversation is terrifying. Maybe you're an introvert and you're like, no way, there's no way I'm going to do that. Right. This is why I'm podcasting in the privacy of my bedroom. I don't want to talk to a human being. And so I totally get that. I totally empathize and I understand that. What I will say though, is that, you don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be an expert to be able to just establish simple rapport on a phone call with the brand. And all it really takes is doing a little bit of research before the call and writing down a list of 7 to 10 questions that you want to ask them. That's it. It's about asking them questions saying, hey, tell me a little bit more about your product roadmap. Tell me a little bit more about this campaign that you had in mind. Have you worked with podcasters before? If you did, how did it go? Did it go well? Did it not go so well? If it didn't go well, what was the reasoning? Do you have what's the competitive landscape looking like for you, in your industry right now? And there's going to be some probably industry specific questions that you might ask. But that should be the bulk of the call. It shouldn't, you shouldn't expect that you're going to need to get on this call and just be an expert and educate the brand and do all these things. No, that's not the point of the call. The point of the call is to learn more about them and ask questions from them. And so that hopefully maybe gives people a bit more comfort of getting on a phone call with the brand, because you don't need to have the answers. And by the way, if they ask you something that you don't know, you could say, you know what? No one's ever asked me that before. I'm going to think about that or do some research and I'll get back to you. And that actually, I think brands will appreciate that. 100%. Right? It's like, you're honest. You don't know the answer. I'll get back to you. They'll appreciate that more than blowing smoke.